Some men go looking for trouble. Others just seem to attract it. But in 1920s Washington, two men kept showing up in the same kind of headline. Jealous husband, deadly love triangle, gunfire. Would either of them learn their lesson? Or would they die trying? I'm Chris, and this is Hidden Lens History, bringing the past back into focus. It's February 1928, Washington, D.C., broad daylight, Connecticut Avenue. A black sedan is parked outside the Mayflower Hotel. Inside are Kennan T. Davis, 24, a patent clerk, and Annie Elizabeth Sale. Watching from the sidewalk is her husband, Ernest W. Sale, age 29. He doesn't shout, doesn't argue. He draws a revolver and fires into the car. Davis stumbles out, hit. Sale fires again. Davis survives, barely. Sale is arrested and charged with assault with intent to kill. The judge calls it attempted murder. The papers call it a jealous rage. But Sale walks free, for now, on $3,000 bond. But Annie, she doesn't return to her husband. She goes into hiding. At her own request, she's sheltered in the D.C. House of Detention, too afraid to leave. The horror of seeing him shoot Davis is still very vivid, she tells reporters. She never files charges. Eventually, she disappears from the headlines. For now. And Ernest? He finds another woman, another crumbling marriage, another man's wife. It's September 20th, 1928, at 2111 First Street Northwest. Tenants at a boarding house are settling in for dinner. Boarding houses weren't just places to sleep, they were close quarters, shared meals, shared stairs, shared secrets. The house is run by Mrs. Josephine Edwards. Her daughter, Catherine Pearl Pryor, lives there with her husband, Norman J. Pryor. So does Ernest W. Sale. And Sale and Catherine, they've gotten too close. Norman Pryor warned him, more than once. Sale didn't listen. That evening, Pryor descends the stairs. Sale is standing in the hallway. Pryor calls out. Sale turns. 4 shots, 2 to the chest, 1 to the shoulder, 1 through the hand. Sale drops to the floor. Pryor doesn't run. He tells police, "I warned him what would happen." He's arrested immediately, held on $10,000 bond. Sale is rushed to Sibley Hospital, barely clinging to life. Over the next 48 hours, 2 women visit the hospital. First is Catherine Pryor, the woman Sale was shot over. She stays by his bedside for hours. She's not hiding. Then comes Annie Sale, Ernest's estranged wife, arriving from Lynchburg, Virginia. She walks straight into the hospital and right past Catherine. 2 women, 1 man, 4 bullets. Doctors remove 2 slugs from Ernest's chest, just inches from his heart. He survives. At the hearing, Sale testifies. "He called my name. I turned. He shot." But under cross-examination, he admits it. He had a knife in his pocket. And yes, he'd been warned. The judge sends Pryor's case to the grand jury. His bond is lowered. And Catherine? She's seen pacing the courthouse hallways, too shaken to stay inside. And after that, Ernest W. Sale vanishes from the papers. But Norman Pryor? He didn't disappear. He just spiraled. It's June 1933. Pryor is now living at 749th Street Northwest, and once again, he's caught in a violent triangle. This time, he's in the crosshairs. James T. McGowan, a younger man, allegedly climbs the fire escape and opens fire through Pryor's window. Pryor fires back from behind a couch. Another boarding house, another gunfight, another arrest. McGowan is indicted for assault. Pryor survives again, but not for long. In January 1935, Norman J. Pryor dies of pneumonia. He was 46, a World War veteran, a jealous husband, a man who kept finding himself where bullets flew. He's buried at Fort Lincoln Cemetery, just outside D.C., in a city that never quite let him go. And what about Ernest W. Sale? He didn't die that night. In fact, he lived nearly 50 more years. Military records show he served in World War II, long after being shot 4 times in a D.C. boarding house. He died in 1978, at 79 years old, just outside the city that almost killed him. And the women? Annie Elizabeth Sale remarried in 1931 and lived out her days in Virginia. She died in 1981, buried in Culpeper National Cemetery. Catherine Pryor? She vanishes from the record, at least under that name. 2 men, 2 women, 3 love triangles, 3 shootings. Maybe married couples shouldn't share living quarters, at least not with guns involved. Like this story? Want to see more tales dusted off and brought back to life? Subscribe to Hidden Lens History.